Hey folks, this is Best in Slot, and in tonight's video we're going to check out something surprisingly cool for Jurassic World Dominion. This is the very first ever, as far as I'm aware, piece of music unveiled for Jurassic World Dominion, and it's actually really surprisingly exciting. We're going to dig into that in just a second. I do want to say this is once again a fairly casual video. You know, I'm still very much in recovery mode, so I apologise for that. I'm dead. It's just the way it is. But hopefully you get a kick out of this like I did. So we're here on Colin Treverrow's Instagram, and he posted just a week ago, he doesn't post very often, that he was recording at Abbey Road with distanced Michael Giacchino. Michael Giacchino is the composer for Jurassic World Dominion, done lots of other big name films, did like The Incredibles, for example. He's doing the new Batman, you know, the one with Robert Pattinson, which looks surprisingly good. So they were recording, and he's got Kermit with him. I'm not sure why. Maybe he did a Muppets film in the past. Anyways, so they've got the whole orchestra here, and they were recording. And obviously a piece of music has been made. I believe they may have wrapped up on this by now. And Colin Treverrow decided to try out the score. He's got a bit of the score, and he wanted to check it out for ambiance and for atmospheric and style and stuff like that, as we can see here. Trying out Michael Giacchino's score for Jurassic World Dominion, it works. So I'm going to play it for you in a second when this goes. One more time. So for me, that is a genuinely awesome piece of music, and the interesting thing about it is, we all know Fallen Kingdom was the horror film, right? That was the idea. Basically, we had these three different themes. I think Treverrow himself talked about it in an interview, where he said the first Jurassic World film was all about this, you know, the park and capitalism and kind of like a action film. And then the second Jurassic World film, i.e. Fallen Kingdom, is going to be more like a horror film, and it definitely did have that vibe. And then Dominion, I think it was meant to have more like an adventure sort of vibe to it, like, you know, dinosaurs are out there, it's a bit more wild and natural and stuff like that, a bit more like a natural animal kind of shebang. So each film had a distinct sort of philosophy, which I actually appreciate. You can kind of bring that back to the original Jurassic Park, and I've only really just thought about this because the original Jurassic Park was more similar to Jurassic World. Again, lots of critiques of capitalism, and okay, the park wasn't open, but it was getting there. Second film, The Lost World, is definitely the most horror-focused of the three, I would say. Jurassic World 3's got quite a bit of it in, but I'd say Lost World is definitely the more horror-focused of the three films. And then Jurassic World 3, you know, the park's fallen into pieces. I've never really thought about this before. You know, it's Isla Sorna, everything's abandoned, it's all overgrown, the raptors have a more sort of natural appearance to them, everything's a little bit more wild and natural. It's interesting, it actually does ape the original trilogy. Huh. Anyways, so I didn't really expect a horror element per se to appear in Dominion, but this music is pure horror film stuff. I didn't see the clip initially, and I'm just going to play it without the music. And when I first heard the music, my first thought was it sounded like something from Halloween. You know, Michael Myers standing at the end of the corridor. There's a young, buxom, blonde teenager at the end screaming, and he walks slowly down the corridor, and as he gets closer and closer, that's when the music starts to ratchet up. That is the first thing that came to my mind. And then Treverrow has literally pasted it over the top of a Dark Souls clip where he's walking slowly up to a door. It's a very, very similar vibe, which makes me think we're going to get something like this in Jurassic World Dominion. It's going to be, you know, he's testing out the score, he's putting it over this scene in particular. Now, Dark Souls is very dark and medieval and oppressive in its atmosphere. Does that mean we're going to get scenes like that in Dominion? Because that'd be really cool. Everything we've seen from the filming in Dominion has actually been shot in daytime so far. I don't believe we've seen anything from the nighttime, but I'm assuming it's happened. But, hell, if anything, film in the daytime. Think about films like Midsommar, where you play with horror in a daytime setting. It can actually be more effective. Not sure how that would work for Dominion. The music's really good, though. It's very reminiscent of things like I said, Halloween, like Jaws a little bit, because it has got a lot of repetition in there. Now, repetition is interesting, because repetition in music is comforting, in a way. You know, we have traditional chorus structures and stuff like that. And when people break out of those structures, music tends to take on... It tends to be because it's like, you know, postmodern music, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into this. But the point is, structure is a comforting thing. traditionally. Now, already the basal structure for this is quite threatening stuff. If we listen to just the start of this, it's repetitive, but it's tense, right? It's spooky repetitive. But then, now, next one, this one. Burn! Burn! And it's still keeping that repetition, but it brings in this extra discordant element. Now, the reason that music is so good at building up tension, it's not only just the discordant nature of it. You know, there's tons of instruments layered over the top of each other. It's not comfortable. It's very chaotic in a way. But by breaking up that repetition with this new aggressive element, I think it kind of naturally takes us out of our comfort zone. I don't actually know anything about music, so I'm kind of talking off the top of my head here, but I think it all makes a lot of sense as to why this is such an effective piece of music. And why? I'm just trying to think of what you'd use this for, because there's no hybrids in Jurassic World Dominion. Now, we know there are certain other dinosaurs appearing, so I don't know. This wouldn't really suit a big dinosaur to me. This suits like a more claustrophobic, tight, tense kind of atmosphere where something is stalking someone else. I'm very excited to see how this comes into Jurassic World Dominion. This bit where it spikes up in a second. Now. Even the background elements aren't the same each time. There's like this higher pitched note that keeps getting higher and higher with each one, which is a very typical thing in music. Just listen to it again. I'm trying to stretch out the video to 8 minutes. You can hear that very final note that comes in it gets higher and higher with each iteration. I guess I don't have much else to say on it. Definitely come follow Colin Treverrow. He doesn't post very often, but when he does, it tends to be fairly exciting stuff. You know, we got the Allosaurus from here. We got the first look at the really cool logo. We got, he had a post, where was that? Yeah, here. He's been posting a lot more recently. This was 57 weeks ago, so over a year ago now, but it's a little scene going on there. And, okay, it's all Jurassic World stuff these days, but... And this was the first thing we ever got for Dominion, day one, there you go. But his very first post was this thing. And if you don't recognise this, this is from Safety Not Guaranteed. It is a time machine. And it is actually, before Jurassic World ever came out, this was the film that made me very optimistic about Colin Treverrow as a director, because I love Safety Not Guaranteed. It's one of my favourite films. And there was a lot of elements in Safety Not Guaranteed that, although it was sort of like more small-scale indie film, I really recommend it if you haven't seen it. Aubrey Plaza's in it, that's enough reason to watch it, you know. And whilst, you know, I never fell in love with Jurassic World the way I wanted to, or the way I know a lot of you did, I still retain optimism that we can get a bit more of that personal dynamic back. And, you know, maybe Dominion is the film to do it. Anyways... Somehow managed to prattle on for 8 minutes. I think this is really cool, though. It gives us an insight into what at least one scene in Dominion is going to be like. It's going to have a very, very heavy horror element. And I'm very excited. You know, now when we sit down and watch this in the cinema, you'll hear this and you'll go, that's the Instagram music. Or that's the music from Best in Slow's video. I think it's really cool. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I promise we'll do some more long-form videos very soon, but I kind of like doing this every now and again, sort of sitting and chatting nonsense with you guys, and you know, it helps stop my head feel like it's going to explode, which it does. Okay. Thank you very much for joining me. From me and cheers much love as always. Bye bye. Reaching out.